What is good, people, and welcome back to the Hype Report. We got some bangers this week. We got to cover Travis. He's releasing a watch collaboration with one of the biggest watch brands on the planet. We've also had official images of the first or the last, allegedly last, Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low dropping next year in 2024. We had Supreme release, we had Palace release and sell out in record timings. We had loads of other good stuff go down, and we got a really cool Q&A to round it off at the end. So yeah, listen up, enjoy, and yeah, please watch to the end so I don't have to get a proper job. So starting off with the weekly roundup, one of the most highly anticipated pieces of news this week was that Travis Scott is branching into the watch game as he's collaborating with AP. Now, I'm not much of a watch guy, but even to me, this was quite interesting to see a music artist who's so dominant in the streetwear and sneaker scene branch into the luxury watch world. It's pretty interesting. Now, the watch itself is pretty cool. It's using Travis's signature brown colorway, which you've seen in a lot of his sneakers, garments, Cactus Jack merch. The watch also features Travis's handwriting on some of the mini dials. There's Cactus Jack branding on the internal watch face. And yeah, it's a pretty cool collaboration. The only downside about this partnership is that 99.999% of Travis's audience is not going to be able to buy it because retail is $200,000, which is mad. And obviously, there will probably be some resale value on that on top. So in terms of the probability of me and you getting it is very, very low. But it is very interesting to see two parties who probably would never have touched a few years ago come together in Travis and AP. Now, AP do have a history of working with, kind of bringing in and reinventing new collaborations. They worked with Jay-Z back in 2005 and LeBron in 2013. So yeah, it'll be cool. I'm excited to see how it goes down across the socials and in general. But again, I can't buy it. And no disrespect, I'm sure people watching can't buy it either. But it will be interesting to see how it goes down for sure. Next up, Supreme. Supreme collaborated with the North Face for what feels like the millionth time last Thursday. And yeah, it was a really interesting drop. The main kind of height of the drop was the fact the retail price was so fucking expensive. It was insane. We saw Nuptsies, Parkers, bags, gloves, all that stuff. Obviously, the Supreme North Face Nupsy is one of the most hyped items between the two brands. They for years and years and years, it's always been super, super hyped. However, this season, it was probably one of the first collaborations or first items between the two in terms of a puffer jacket that was so frowned upon and so missed. No one really wanted it. Everyone was passing on it. And the main reason for that, and Supreme got loads of backlash for that, was because the retail was stupid. It was insane. The actual Nupsy was at £1,000. Literally, it was 1,048 quid, which is absolutely mental. And the Parker came in a little bit more expensive at 1.2k, which is crazy. I mean, that's the same price as a Canada Goose. It's more than the Montclair. It's just wild, man. Also, the material was pretty poor. It was like a suede fabric, which is cool, which will be comfortable. And I guess I like that on like a jumper or maybe a winter jacket or a track jacket. But to have that on a winter jacket in the UK when it's constantly raining in the winter at this time of year, it seems pretty pointless to me. So yeah, spending a rack on that was a hard pass from me and a lot of other people. In other news, we also had the first official image of the Jordan 1 Low Reverse Olive and Travis Scott collaboration that is releasing next year in fall 2024, allegedly. Yeah, it looked really cool. It was in the reverse olive colorway, as I said. It comes with an inside olive swoosh, and then there's an outside white reverse swoosh, which is obviously Travis's signature detailing. Now, it is a very cool shoe. We were, as I've said on previous podcasts, we were told by Nike, allegedly, and just by social media gurus in the sneaker game, that we will not be seeing another Jordan 1 and Travis Scott Low, or Jordan 1 Low and Travis Scott shoe collaboration, sorry. They've obviously lied to us, because since then we've seen the golf shoe, and we've now seen, before the year's even over, we've seen official images of the crepe releasing next year. It is nice. The suede on the shoe looks good. It's the same color. It has exactly the same color blocking as the original Travis Mocha that released back in the day or a couple years ago. And yeah, it will be really, really cool. And I think it's a really nice looking shoe. I do like the colorway. It is a very popular neutral earth tone that has been trending over the last couple of years. So yeah, it's going to go down really, really well. When we're going to see it, I believe fall next year, like I said, but there's no confirmation on that yet. And yeah, it's a good looking shoe. Resale will be crazy. And yeah, it's definitely one to look forward to for next year. It could even be shoe of the year without it even being 2024 yet. We also saw a bit of a rogue entry into the sneaker news this week as Timothée Chalamet, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, I'm chronically dyslexic so I don't actually know, but the super famous actor who's debuting, or not debuting, but like featuring, or like the main lead in the Wonka film that releases this month. Him and Nike have came together. They met up at Nike's headquarters in the States, and they're releasing 5 pairs. Well, they're not releasing, it's like a completely private thing, but they showcased 5 pairs of the Nike Dunk Wonka collaboration or whatever, or Timothée Chalamet designed this Nike Dunk. 5 pairs in the world, kind of a chocolate and candy type design. As you can see, it almost looks more to me like a sketch type design, which is it's okay. It does look a little bit like the SB Paris Dunk, maybe a bit of a budget version. Not actually a budget version, because the price on this is probably priceless, but in terms of the design, it's okay. The swoosh is a bit heavy, there's quite a lot going on. It is a bold shoe. And yeah, 5 pairs in the world. We're probably never gonna see it again. It came in this really nice, exclusive, luxurious wooden box. And Timothée Chalamet was videoed for like a couple of minutes, opening it up and showcasing it. Another cool collaboration between sneakers and the celebrity world. One of the coolest collaborations and releases we saw this week was between the unlikely collaboration. It has gone down before, but that is Palace and Uggs. Now we saw a Tasman Palace slipper Ugg thing. I really don't know much about Uggs at all. They're laughing at me in the back for my pronunciation of how I put the words together. But yeah, we saw a chestnut colorway and a kind of green khaki colorway. And bro, I haven't seen Palace sell out this fast in so long, man. It was crazy. Now, the Ugg hype, we need to recognize that the Ugg hype has been absolutely mental. In fact, it's probably the one shoe, if you can call it a shoe, or piece of footwear that resellers are making a shitload of money on this year. And the Ugg hype goes back to like 2016, 2017. When I was researching for the show, I was seeing angry girls tweet about how resellers are moving and flipping Ugg boots around Christmas time. Like this time of year, everyone wants Uggs for cold, for the reason that it's cold and winter, and also the fact that it's like Christmas and presents and shit like that. And gifts. So yeah, it went down. And the Palace and Ugg, like I guess the slipper itself, like the design, it was pretty cool. It had like a bunch of Palace embroidery designs. It had like a demon duck and a few other crazy bits going on. And then yeah, it was fire, but the retail was £200 and they're now reselling at $350. So yeah, I passed. I actually forgot they were dropping like 10 minutes before. I set a reminder on my phone and just completely missed them. But yeah, the Ugg hype is crazy and Palace has really added to that. They did release a full Ugg boot a couple of seasons ago. It had like this awful, ugly ass lightning design. So I'm pleased they reinvented it this year on a like slipper, a smaller Ugg silhouette. And they pushed out some really good shit. It was good. They also came with, they also released, mittens with the same design and a big ass Palace rug that I was gonna try and get, but I was busy, man. I was busy. I just forgot, to be fair. So yeah, the Palace and Uggs collaboration was a good. It got the green light from me, but I missed it, unfortunately. It is finally box logo season. Yes, it is that time of year where Supreme are releasing more BOGOs, and I've actually got a really good drop going down this week. So it goes down on the 7th of December, which is this Thursday, as of when the podcast comes out. It will be this week. And yeah, so we're getting just a bunch of box logo colorways, including a re-release of a 1995 camo on grey colorway, which is pretty cool. It's the most kind of hyped colorway, but there's some other good colorways as well. We've got a black, a blue, a purple, a kind of a sage, a lime, a red, and a white, as well as a Rawlings baseball and Supreme collaboration, which you've seen before, but it's still another like kind of cool collaboration amongst the drop. But the BOGOs will get the most hype for sure. I probably prefer the lime colorway, or like if I had to, like if the one I'm gonna go for, not prefer, is definitely the kind of like lilac-y lime. I don't even know what color you would call it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna go for that. It's really sick. Retail will be around 150. I think it's like 158 in the States, like dollars. I don't know what it actually is in sterling UK. But yeah, it will be fried on the website drop on Thursday. The one interesting thing that really fascinates me about this drop is it's the first BOGO release, the first box logo drop since the kind of new revolutionized Supreme hype. Now, the last like few months, we've seen Supreme really come back into its own, at least amongst like the social media world and people on TikTok, for example. Like, it is blown up on TikTok. Like a year ago, people would just laugh at Supreme on socials, but now it's kind of like back in, thanks to a few cool collaborations, and just the hype in general is returning a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how hyped and kind of how fast these sell out. And that will, I think, will give a really good indication to see where Supreme is. But yeah, I'm buzzing. It's going to be a really good drop. I do love I just get that absolute buzz of nostalgia when Supreme release a BOGO these days. So yeah, I'm pleased that the hype's there, and it should be a good drop. It will be a good drop if I take a dub. So yeah, I will see. Hopefully, good luck, and we'll see how it goes down on Thursday. So I'm going to be answering some of my most popular and commonly asked questions. The first one is how to get into reselling. Now, this is a really kind of controversial question because there's not exactly a right or wrong way to get into reselling, and I can only give like my opinion on what I've learned from, I guess, reselling with Kicksforce, which is my pre-loved sneaker business. And yeah, just what I've kind of learned from being in the space for years and years and years. There's definitely people who are more educated on this matter, but for me, I do like to think I know a good amount of information for sure. Now, the first thing would be, at least what I learned was I had to like just engross myself into the culture entirely. You have to be genuinely really interested in like shoes or whatever you're reselling. So I think you have to resell something you're passionate about, because then it doesn't feel like it's a massive drag, a massive job, because it is really difficult to get into in the sense of your knowledge. Like, you do need to be switched on, you need to learn about the market, you need to figure out price points, how to sell, how to buy, where to sell, where to buy, all that stuff as well. And yeah, it can be complicated. So the main thing about reselling, if I was to offer anyone advice, or what I say to anyone who does ask me, especially at like sneaker conventions and stuff, I always get asked this question, and I always just say, just learn the market, man, because it makes everything so much easier. So, for example, we have a couple of buyers at Kicksforce, and between me and them, we can pretty much name the value of any shoe, or like pre-loved condition, like literally. Not any, but any like popular shoe, like probably any Yeezy 350, most SB Dunks, especially recently released, not so much the vintage stuff. So learn the market and just do your thing, man. I think I really recommend trying to sell and buy and sell pre-loved initially. Start learning how the prices of used pairs, buying and sell used pairs. There's a lot more money in that than new pairs at the moment. Unfortunately, the market is crashed quite hard, or has crashed quite hard over the last 6 months or so, at least maybe even 6 to 9 months. And you don't have to wait, or the beauty of buying and selling pre-loved is you don't have to wait for these new pairs to release. And you can kind of just do it at your own pace, which is really, really cool. So yeah, I think to summarize, buy and sell pre-loved initially, learn the market, throw yourself into it, but be genuinely really passionate about it. So you want to sell something you love. So if that's clothes, a brand you love, Supreme, Palace, you can start in quite a big niche, or quite a small niche, sorry. As in, like, I started like moving Palace like when I was, I don't know, like 16, 17, really, really small scale, but I learned a lot about pre-loved Palace and just like the drops, and I just knew all about it, and it made my whole life a lot easier. So throw yourself into it, learn a lot, and places like eBay and Depop are your best friends. Just make sure you're buying legit pairs. And yeah, I think that summarizes up pretty well. And leading on from that question, kind of pretty similar, where to buy affordable shoes. I get asked this all the time. Now, I buy loads of shit, and I think people think I'm like absolutely minted because of the amount of shoes I have, and the amount of shoes I have come in and come out and buy and sell. Yeah, no, the truth is I'm not a millionaire, so I can't buy whatever shoe I want. But what I do is I do buy a lot of pre-loved shoes. I use eBay all the time. eBay's your best friend, man. You got to really use eBay a lot. There's some amazing techniques you can do on eBay, and some really good tools as well. So for example, when I'm buying shoes and I want to find out the value of something, eBay have a tab where you can literally look at sold listings. So you can find out the actual price, like directly, of pretty much pinpoint that market value, which is really, really important. So yeah, buy pre-loved, put some bids on, like low bids, lowball people, bro. Not in like a mean way, but you've got to work, man. You've got to put the effort in. When I started Kicksforce, for example, we didn't have like a big team like we do now, or like we have a small team now, but we didn't have people working for us and helping us out regularly. So I literally just would spend like 4 hours a day, maybe 3-4 hours a day, scrolling through eBay and Depop looking for the best deals. Now, Something you can do on eBay that is pretty common now, everyone does it, but you should be doing it, is you just look at like newly listed items on like a weekend, right? A lot of people who don't sell stuff regularly will upload stuff on a Sunday or a Saturday or Sunday night. And that's where you can find loads of steals. So for example, today we're filming on the Sunday. Me and my mate will go back this afternoon and we buy a bunch of stuff for Kicksforce, my sneaker business, this evening on a Sunday night. And yeah, that's a few really good features. Like I said, use secondhand platforms like eBay, Depop, and build relationships with people. If you're regularly buying like at a really good price off people, go back to that same guy or whoever it may be, because then they will be more inclined to sell to you at a better price. I have a few guys I buy like Nike SB Dunks off religiously, literally multiple, like every week, and that's just like my personal collection. But they shave like a good fraction off the price every time. They're always below StockX like prices and payouts and whatever, and all these other platforms. But I would say places like eBay, Depop, Vinted, they're all really, really good. You do need to make sure you're getting your pairs legit checked. eBay's good because they have the authentication guarantee over pairs over like £80, £100. But yeah, you need to make sure your pairs are legit. So yeah, buy secondhand, pre-loved, and just throw yourself into it, man. You've got to be on it. You've got to spend a lot of time on the market, especially browsing those secondary or resale market platforms. Now, another question I get asked practically every single day is how to become a content creator. Now, obviously I can, similar to the questions already, I can only speak on my experience. Everyone does get into this kind of content space or influencer space their own way. But it is, you can make a lot of money from it these days. It is a really good job and it is a very flexible job. So everyone wants to kind of become an influencer or content creator. So this is how I'd become a content creator in 2023 right now. Again, I started on TikTok, so I can't mention stuff about YouTube, but in terms of TikTok, TikTok's moved a lot recently. So the kind of like the way the algorithm works now, what TikTok want to see is so different to what it was a year ago or 18 months ago. Back in the day when I started TikTok and a lot of other people were starting back in like, I don't know, 2020, 2021, when it was really, really popping, it was all short form videos and the ability to go viral was so much higher than it is now. Like it was so easy to get a trending video. I used to do these like really shitty mystery box like unboxings. I would just put like a song behind it. I wouldn't have my face in it, and they would pop to like, I don't know, 800K to 1 million pretty much every single time. And that was bizarre, bro. That was bizarre. But now, what TikTok wants to see, they want to compete with places like YouTube and Instagram, and they want to have long form videos in high quality. So what I would do is you do need to invest a little bit. You do need to maybe buy a better camera, or buy a mic, or buy some editing software, or pay for an editor, because the production levels and the people you're going up against is so much higher than it was a couple of years ago. So if you're like me and don't have I like to think I have a semi-decent personality, but I'm not like the funniest guy on the planet. So I do have like my like kind of USP is that my videos are well cut, they're well produced, they're expensive in the sense there's a lot of like energy, time and money that goes into them. And I think that's probably where I win compared to some other creators, in the sense of, not saying I'm better than anyone else or whatever. What I am saying is that I think my production value aligns with TikTok and what they want to see than what a lot of other people are posting. So you can film on your phone and stuff like that. The beauty of phone cameras now is that they're fucking sick. But what I'm saying is, if it's like a sit down type video, spend time making sure your subtitles are right, put subtitles onto the vid, make sure the video is clean, it looks good, and yeah, make sure it's well produced. I think that's probably, if someone was to ask me right now how to become a content creator, off the top of my head, they are the main things I would suggest doing. Make sure you know how to produce good content and post regularly, man. TikTok wants you to be, and Instagram and YouTube, they all want you to be posting pretty consistently. But Instagram and TikTok, I can speak on quite a lot, and they want to see regular content all the time. So to summarize, good quality content, spend time and money and effort and energy into your videos. Make sure they're like maybe a little bit longer, maybe over a minute, maybe 50 seconds to 90 seconds or whatever, because TikTok is trying to compete with YouTube and all these other platforms. And long content is always going to kind of surpass short form in terms of monetization as well. So it is really good to have longer vids. So yeah, do that, man. Do that. And finally, another question I get literally all the time, and I can't answer them because my DMs are flooded with literally this question and a couple of others we've already answered, is StockX legit? So everyone's always buying shoes these days, right? And StockX is one of the most popular platforms to buy shoes from. But they have had some controversy, very, very, very minimal controversy, by the way. It's been blown way out of proportion. So to answer, StockX is 100% legit. What actually happened was, I think it was last year now, 2022, I wanna say like April, May time last year, they had a few issues with Nike, and I believe the lawsuit and legal stuff might still be going on. But basically there was a particular reseller or buyer who bought like 20 to 30 pairs of Jordan 1s. And it was one particular colorway, maybe like a UNC or it was a University Blue or something like that. And this colorway they were sent fakes. They got past the StockX authentication process, which is like a middleman. So like, for example, if I was to work at StockX, what would happen is someone would buy the shoe, they would send it to me, I would check it, and then I go and ship it off to the seller. That's basically how it works. The shoe gets shipped to the StockX headquarters and warehouse, and then they check it. And they are legit, they are 100% legit. I think because of the controversy that's happened, it's been like the fact it's with Nike, and Nike have spent a lot of money like pursuing them for these claims, because Nike don't like anyone, I guess, reselling their shit. I'm not entirely sure why they spent so much time and effort trying to, I guess it's valid, but Nike did really try and throw StockX under the bus. But look, it's legit, they're 100% legit. I use StockX all the time. The prices are pretty good, actually. The prices back in the day used to be very high, like the market was high on StockX, and there was a lot of better places you could pick up shoes for like the bang for your buck, for example. But now, StockX is really good value, man. They're really good. I picked up the SB purple, like they're actually called the court purples, but they're like the suede purple dunks that released a couple months ago on StockX really recently, and I picked them up for like a really good price. It was actually probably under market value, because I whacked the bid on there and was pretty patient and someone came through. So yeah, StockX is legit, and they've had a few issues, but mostly for 99.99999% of the time, bro, it was just human error, I imagine. So yeah, StockX is good for me. That is that, people. Thank you very much for watching. 6 p.m. every Monday we release a podcast. You can catch it on Spotify, YouTube, all podcast streaming platforms. I think from this week onwards, we're going to be trying a few more guest formats. I've kind of got used to the podcast a little bit because it is definitely a new thing for me. So yeah, moving forward, we're going to have some cool guests, YouTubers, music artists, resellers, and yeah, just some really cool people, brand owners, some really cool people in the space, the niche, and it's going to make for a much more of a different, I guess, listen, which will be really, really fascinating for me and for you guys at home. So yeah, big up, 6 p.m. every Monday. Thank you for the support. I'll see you next week.